And let me tell you that I found it very strange that if I get back home after this time, I am just tired. I am just not interested in anything that is going around me. What is this? There is some problem which is happening, you know. What is that problem? How I can overcome that problem? I got into that process and I found that yes, there was a nutritional deficiency which was causing that kind of tiredness. Because of which I was not enjoying anything after getting back home. You want to play with your family, you want to spend time with them, you want to watch TV, there's some interesting program, but you are not interested because you are so tired that you just want to sleep at that time. This was actually my own small experiment, as Dr. Sunil was talking about experiment. This was my own experiment. And you know, after I found that you know that nutritional deficiency was a problem, I started taking those supplements and I found that I could work for longer hours. I could even study up to 11 o'clock, even after getting back home. So this is something which I did, a small experiment of my own. Okay, so I mean it's not necessary that sleeping is the only way. Sleeping may be by force because you are so tired. Sometimes you feel that even while working in the office, you suddenly feel sleepy and you take a small nap because you are tired. So, most of the time in the class. That's what I feel most of the time in the classroom. That is a leisure time.
Madam, you are justifying the advertisement campaign of nutritional supplements like we
therefore, I am not naming anything. I am not naming anything. I am just saying that...
They also say that there is some deficiency after a certain age and
look, it all depends.
some supplements and these are, if you take, you remain more active.
Look, supplements are not always good for everybody. You know, many people are just taking supplements. I am just saying that this was an experiment I did on myself because, you know, actually I got into health also because I had health problems, let me very frankly admit. It is not merely that it was, why did I apply to Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation? Even if my background in health was only teaching, I was not undertaking any research. My research specialization is in industry and state. That is my specialization. But because I had some health problems in my life, I understood the meaning of health. And then, you know, people who were around me, the women, they also understood the meaning of health. Because they saw me, a person who is so active is not really able to do anything. Okay? So then on, I started taking serious interest in these health issues. Supplements I never took in my life. But I felt that the kind of work I want to do and I can do, I am not able to do after recovering from my health problems. And then I started experimenting with that. I don't visit doctors, let me tell you. Because somewhere, you know, I read this health literature only. There is a problem, like, you know, the moral hazard. This moral hazard is on both sides, consumers as well as producers. And here, suppliers are the doctors. So how, because of your ignorance, they can take advantage of your situation, you know. So therefore, you know, I'm just telling you because health is such a thing which is very personalized sometimes. So I experimented myself that how I can get, you know. So it is not that I'm advertising any, I mean, I'm not really naming any medicine or telling you what exactly was that or what actually that related to, nothing. I'm just saying that you know, if you expect, I mean, this is just to explain somebody's query here, that how come it, what is the leisure and what is the difference? So leisure is something that you actually enjoy. And sleeping is not always leisure. It is, many a times it is just forced one. Yes, 7-8 hours is fine. But beyond that, if you are sleeping, that means there is something wrong about yourself. And there something, nutritional problem is definitely there in the body. So you can eat better food. It's not only that you take supplement, you eat better food. But some people don't want to eat better food because they perhaps don't have time or they don't like food. So then they have to go for some other option. It is just like that. I took that because food is not my, I mean, I'm not a foodie person. So basically, I find it difficult to eat.
So a lot of it possibly has to do with the changing lifestyle in which we are getting into the food which are nutritionally not kind of giving us sufficient nutrition.
Yes.
And that's why we are...
Exactly, because in a family when you cook food, you don't cook only for yourself. You cook for everybody. Okay, and then you don't feel like cooking for yourself separately, because you are cooking for everybody. So sometimes, exactly, sometimes it's not, but it is not necessary at all to take supplements. I am not endorsing any supplement. You know, it is not good to take supplements unless you really test, diagnosed for taking that. So I am not saying that. I am just telling you that, this is an experiment that I did without any getting diagnosed myself. I didn't go to the doctor, but I did this. Just to tell you that it matters. Just to substantiate that particular. So just make sure, and I am not recommending taking any supplement. Take good food. That is what I want to say. That nutritional deficiency can create loss in your body. And that loss is not only for work, but it is also for relationship. And that is the relationship.
So how these celebrities manage, madam, just like they come from the shoot at 4 o'clock in the morning, then they are again on the job at 5:12 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. How do they manage their schedule? They seem to be very healthy on the actors and they are rare not only all the actors.
That's a good question. Because I am also very...
They have shifted their lifestyle to that.
But there is no, it is not like, let me just tell you, because I
company is also good.
Because I am friendly with a person who is into show business, and he was telling that every person who is in show business, he has his own dietitian or nutritionist with him. And these people actually make sure that the person keeps getting proper nutrition. Not food, merely food, the food that we eat. They eat some food which is very special food in the sense that it is very nutritional. For instance, if you like, now that you are asked, and I am also interested in these things. For instance, if you, I don't know how many of you seen Rekha earlier days. She was a
very fatty.
And look at till date.
She has maintained.
She has maintained because she is eating nutrition.
Graceful.
This is how you find. This is how nutrition is so important. We just eat food to fill our tummy.
One more element
Actually,
is
it has to be from
very
this point of view. Just
walking
read this theory and you will see eating only nutrition, nutritious food. I'm sure.
in medicine nutrition, some sort of exercise also actually is required. You may have a very good food, very nutritious food, balanced food. But unless you do that in lifestyle, you do little change, then full effect will come. That is my...
They always do yoga, like, you must have seen so many things that come down. They do yoga and
Yeah, something like that.
But it is all about health.
It is more about
Nutrition plus like
their dietitian must be giving them
It has to be.
They are so much.
So you can have very nutrition, it is also a problem creating
Yes,
sometimes.
yes, definitely. Unless the body is active, I will not be able to absorb nutrition also.
Normally we are nutrition wise okay, but this is the thing.
Health part is
Sir.
Trainers, then makeup person. So there is a whole team which is working to keep them looking so young, so big, so beautiful. So it is not that it requires a lot of investment, let me tell you, in this case. So there are earnings for that. So a lot of investment goes into health because this is where they get returns. The day they start looking old, the returns start. So education is not important for them. So it varies actually from business to business. So their business is to look good. And looking good also is related with
that is a capital investment.
that's what it is. Return is directly related with your investment in health.
Sometimes they may not be very healthy also, but just looking good like Michael Jackson.
No, many of them are not healthy also. Many of them are not. Many of them are not healthy.
They are looking but not.
That was because of alcohol.
that is alcoholism.
No, many of them are not really healthy.
Michael Jackson, Meena Kumari, they were all.
Michael Jackson was suffering from a peculiar disease, and that's why he had to go for that kind of therapy, which turned into no,
Nepal office.
he was suffering from some disease, because of which he had to undergo that therapy, so that he could look white. But then that led to ultimatum. Anyway, there are several issues with, there are drug problems also with them. They have to be, one of the things is that, many of them are actually do drugs to keep themselves so much energetic. So it is also one of the aspects of it. So what people are doing, we just don't know, but many of them are really health freaks now, of late. We find that many of them are really talking about health a lot. Okay. So this is actually a very important ingredient in the whole thing. If you don't invest in health, then obviously you will not be fit. And this is my experimental based evidence I can give you for that. It is very important to invest in health. And if everyone invests in health in an economy, then definitely contributes to the country's productivity. If you look at sports persons, why the Western sports persons are doing better than the sports persons of South Asian region? Okay, there is some, if you look at their physique and everything, you can actually compare the two. Yeah, there is a lot of stamina, the strength with which they were. So perhaps all that counts a lot, even in Now, this was the theory, and let us see how the theory changed the international perspective. Now, mid-1940s, because many countries became independent at that time. So this is why this period is taken, and then they started talking about policies and strategies. Prior to that, there was imperialism all over, and countries were not really free to formulate their own policies. So mid-1940s, when many countries became independent and they started talking about policies and growth and things like that, then UN also came into existence. Health was recognized as one of the most important aspects of human life. So ILO, many of you are familiar with that, they actually declared health as one of the human rights. Then WHO was established in 1946, primarily to promote health-related policies. And Russia at the national level was the country which gave its citizens a constitutional right to all health services. It was the first country which gave this kind of right to its citizens. Many others followed later. In China, there was a very peculiar example which I will give here in the second phase. So this was a phase when international agencies actually recognized that health is an important aspect of human rights, and it is a basic human right for the citizens of a country. In late 1970s and early 80s, in Russia, there was this declaration called Alma-Ata Declaration. This was a phrase. Alma-Ata was a phrase. Now this declaration for the first time talked about universal primary health care. This phrase was coined, universal primary health care, and this became a cornerstone in the area of health. Many countries followed, those who were signatories of this declaration. They actually recognized, or they started implementing the strategy of universal primary health care in their own countries. But then, this politics played a very major role, even at international level. What happened was, as soon as this declaration was made and, many countries started adopting this as a strategy for health in their own countries, in America, there was a promotion of, vertical program strategy, which is very different from universal health care. Vertical programs are that instead of promoting universal health care, just identify the major diseases in your country and focus on the eradication of those diseases. Today, if you are given pulse polio is a part of vertical program. Okay, so what they did was, what was, I don't know, why they started promoting this vertical program. This was perhaps, what many people have written is that in America, Rockefeller Institute, they started promoting this because they found that through this program, they could actually be getting a lot of business for their own pharmaceutical industry. this was the kind of reason behind promoting vertical programs. So they started writing that developing countries have very meager resources. So it is better not to spread them thinly across universal primary healthcare, but just focus on the eradication of diseases. Primary healthcare was not only curative. Primary healthcare basically is preventive. That's what somewhere in the literature it is written that they were interested in promoting their own pharmaceutical industry, so they were interested that these programs should be taken rather than people being told that, you be healthy.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win. They work for their promotion and they also promote it.
But actually there was a choice. Now there were two alternative strategies. One is to promote primary healthcare and the other is invest in the vertical program. So these two strategies came, and unfortunately UNICEF also fell into the trap, and they also started promoting vertical programs. And all this Pulse Polio program actually was originated in UNICEF. So some people say that actually was the point that killed that initiative to promote universal primary healthcare, because of which developing countries till date are suffering. Had that been strengthened at that point in time, then it could have actually covered a long way until now. But now what happened when these two strategies came and UNICEF also started promoting vertical programs, developing countries also thought this is a better option because this will yield direct results immediately. They can show the achievement. Primary healthcare is something creating base. Okay, but vertical programs are immediate results. These are my achievements. So the entire attention was diverted towards that. So it began, and why it began, universal healthcare actually was taken from China, let me tell you. There was a program called Barefooted Doctor in China. Okay, these doctors, several people, there were no doctors. People were collected, they were given some basic medical training, and then they were asked to go to villages and then, teach health and cure people from this disease. They were not, they were using that. They were not quacks in the sense that they were trained by the government initially in the first phase. They were not medical doctors, but they were paramedical, or they were not actually, they were just political graduates. They were trained in certain kind of diseases which were very prevalent in those areas. Maybe you can say that, they were not trained, but you can say quacks, but quacks are not trained by the government. They were multi-purpose people, they were known as barefooted doctors, and they actually made a big dent in the health problems in China. So from there this concept came that perhaps if you promote primary health care like this, you can really solve the problem. But then that initiative was taken because of this alternative strategy. Then in late 1980s and 1990s, things started changing. Despite the fact that new growth stories came during the 1980s, the world situation was not really ready to accept that. Why? Because there was a financial crisis in the 1980s because of oil price crisis. Okay, so the world was, many economies were getting failed, and the World Bank and IMF, they were imposing the conditions of structural adjustment. I am sure that many of you know that the commercial, government expenses were cut down severely, in the late 80s and early 90s, and then therefore many countries then went for liberalization, that was a directive actually, that is very directive. So at that time, when the structural adjustment era came, government was cutting down their expenses, and this was a condition imposed by the World Bank, and then the international agencies started promoting the idea that government should not invest into health. Perhaps that was the idea of that policy maker. It is very much private, and private people, and it should be brought into the private sector. Okay, and then what they said, it was a very natural system that private investment should take place, and this should be funded by insurance, so that out-of-pocket expenses do not increase. Okay, so this philosophy started dominating the world scene, and many with cost recovery, private health financing, all these things, these phrases started becoming important. So this was the issue of public versus private. This debate became important. But then it was realized, and at this time, WHO also became totally weak. It was just dominated by World Bank. And another important thing that happened was that health came from WHO to World Bank. World Bank dominated the health issue at that point, right? Because World Bank had become dominating agency because they were giving loans. Okay, so this health was grabbed by them. And WHO, it was not the philosophy of WHO. WHO was very much into health expenditure by the public sector. But because it has come in the hands of the World Bank, they were promoting no health expenses, you must cut down, because this is not your forte, that is in the private sector.
But this was there then basically in US. But in many European developed countries like UK and all, it was always the government sector.
It is all in political.
Government sector. Many European countries following government model. US was private, even today also.
Therefore, they actually promoted the US. But in Europe also now, after this crisis has come, there is diversion of resources because governments don't have now resources to invest, and the social security system is so strong, so much money goes into it. Right from the time a child is born in the hospital, he becomes a state guest. Okay, that type of system is now giving way to more of private initiative in Europe now. So that
But US also has now reversed its policy. I think. More government is.
There is a lot of
Obama actually wanted that, but there was so much, this is such a strong lobby. It is not a small thing. It's not a small business.
But Obama
Health
is
a
a
multi-billion
lot of business.
So actually, Obama has to take up.
Obama has given the health on price insurance. That everybody is compulsorily has to be insured. But healthcare is still private. It is totally private.
He could not do anything. Nobody can do anything because it is such a strong lobby there. So much money is transacted because of this health insurance business there. That, and doctors lobby, this pharmaceutical companies lobby, everything is, so this is what the movement, this is where the movement started in the late. But by the 1990s, things started changing again. The World Bank actually took up again, they again went to the same philosophy of health being an important component. And in 1995, in the Worldwide Convention, they declared that this new policy, which is health for all sectors. Health for all, this is one word, health for all categories. Now, why this term was taken by the World Bank? Because poverty became a very important issue by then. People were talking about poverty more than the growth, and health was considered as a major component in the poverty reduction strategy. So in health strategy, the perception towards health also changed, and it became very important now. But then again, because the World Bank philosophy is based upon the medical philosophy, that is free market economy, again they did not talk about the state being the most important agent for promoting health. They said that let us develop public-private partnerships, let us involve community, so private sector, government sector, PPP, community participation. All these things were considered as important for promoting health for all. So once again, the emphasis was not only on the government, because they always talked about the government failure. Okay? So they don't talk much about the private market failure, but now of course private markets have also failed. That's what this slide will show. So anyway, so at this time, the emphasis was not merely on health infrastructure. Until then people were talking about health infrastructure. Earlier it was government, then it became private. Now there was a more holistic view. And here the focus shifted to health equity, quality, cost recovery, because private sector is playing an important role, better governance. They say let the government spend, but it should be monitored, it should be evaluated. And this is the genesis of impact evaluation. Now there is so much of emphasis on impact evaluation because governance became a very important component of any category. Then health financing, primarily insurance, each community, government, private. So it became a more comprehensive kind of view that towards health. Now there is a very major debate that is going on, and this debate is whether more should be spent on infrastructure or it the focus should be on health financing. Because in this whole strategy, health financing is a very major component. Earlier, health infrastructure was a component. So if you look at latest papers, there is a lot of debate that is going on. Whether we should spend money on, I'll come to that in the Indian context, what is happening, on infrastructure or on health financing. Many people are of the view that forget about financing, government should focus only on infrastructure. Because it is very important to have health infrastructure in the public sector. Because private sector and then combined with financing cannot really ensure health. That is a major, I am also supporting that kind of view through my papers that, we cannot really talk about, we cannot really spend so much money on financing, insurance, what the government is doing. Let's spend that money on infrastructure because ultimately that is the solution. Insurance.
Infrastructure is in the long term, that is the long term goal.
Yes, but what is happening is that so much money is going into the financing that very little is going into the infrastructure development. So that is what it, because the entire focus is shifted now on financing. I'll come to that how the focus is shifted.
Do we not make a distinction between?
Yes, hospitals and dispensaries and doctors, trained doctors and other institutions.
Do we not make a distinction between, say, primary versus the, more specialized healthcare?
Yes.
Because the thing is, the infrastructure may be important for the primary, but not for possibly the secondary and the.
It is primary. Primary infrastructure is very important because earlier the focus had been on the primary infrastructure. Unless you have access to the primary infrastructure, in India I come to show that how the tertiary sector healthcare actually is being promoted now. They're all about corporate sector.
Medical tourism is tertiary sector.
It's like a public good versus a private good. I mean, universal primary is a public good.
Public. So that's what actually is very important. But anyway, this debate is going on, but now if you look at the literature, it is more about a very comprehensive view and there is a lot of emphasis on health equity that everyone should get access to health. Primary infrastructure I come to. Give you a specific, for instance, when you fall ill, who do you go to? A doctor in the neighborhood? But if you have a government dispensary there, then your expenses would be much lower. The problem of moral hazard would be much lower. I don't know how many of you are frequent visitors, but if you go to AIIMS, many people prefer to go to AIIMS. It is difficult there. AIIMS is, but like people say that AIIMS is a place where you get the right kind of advice. Because those people are not benefited by any kind of wrong advice or any kind of over-prescription. You just visit a private hospital for any small thing. They will give you a form with a list of tests and the doctor will tick all of them without looking at what are they for. You do because you are ill. सारे ठीक करेगा. You will do because you are ill. You don't want to take a chance. And doctor knows that. You will do all that. But doctor somewhere knows what is the problem. You take all those reports to the doctor, he will not even look at the report.
He is not serious about the report.
He doesn't look at the report. Because he knows what is the diagnosis and what is the problem. What is the like. But why he is getting all that done? Because he has invested or anybody else whom he recommended have, recently you saw that Satyam is there. It is precisely that. It is precisely that. Because somebody has invested in those expensive machinery and those equipment and they are lying unutilized, they have to be used for full capacity. So this has to be done.
So that is secondary.
What? Primary infrastructure, that is basically, basically if you have those basic kind of medical facilities right in your neighborhood, that will actually, be very good for all of us in the sense that it will be affordable and efficient medical advice that you can get
For, it is then that is also one of the factors for the doctors having a large number of investigations.
Better doctor?
Consumer Protection Act as one of the factors for which doctors are having a large number of investigations, so that the doctor does not want to take any risk.
But I need the practice.
That is also
It could be another possibility, but in the literature.
But I don't know, you cannot take all the tests, even if that is a consideration, you can't take all the tests. You know this person has this symptom, you'll ask for some tests, not entire set of tests.
If your eyes are problem, have a problem, you cannot prescribe the test for it.
No patient who has caused by chronic iridescence, that the autoimmune disease may be one of the reasons for which taste those who are the cause for leave that ultimately.
Look, okay. I agree. As a doctor, you know better. But you know, there is a problem. I mean, I don't know, but I have been a patient. I know that. And I know that I never went by the doctor's advice. Had I gone by that, I would be better than today. This is what my perception. Maybe it is wrong. Maybe it is wrong. I don't defend again. I am not really saying anything.
Madam, I will not.
There is a whole literature on moral hazards of substances in the medical services. And this is one reason why people say this strategy of financing is not really good. This is benefiting the private sector doctors at the cost of the patient. So there is overutilization of healthcare by those who can afford, but the people who cannot even afford to be a part of the insurance, they are really deprived of the medical facilities. So this system is highly unequal. This is what the literature says.
In Europe, they have a very good understanding of what
I mean, there are even just let me, because we have some concerns. You may be right. As a doctor, you may be absolutely right. But not everyone is right, because you know, it's also a kind of profession. You know, if I'm a teacher, you know,
coaching is the thing.
so many teachers are doing that.
Each and every person wants.
They won't teach in the class. They will teach outside the class.
Exactly, this is happening, 100%.
So it is happening. I know that.
And doctors sometimes will tell you that, okay, please come to my private clinic, I'll treat you better. That's another example of that. I mean, you're basically promoting your business, not really doing your job. And it's very rampant, I mean.
Please say.
I read a literature about this American healthcare. Two persons having the same illness of the same age. Now they visit two doctors separately. The person who visits the doctors more died earlier.
I believe that. That's what I was saying for myself also. I believe that. So anyway, this is not to offend anybody. It is just to say that this is what the literature.
But again, one of the important strategies for the medical sector could be to promote more information and transparency. That to some extent can cure this issue of moral hazard, which is a issue which is rampant in this particular sector.
Look, what happens is that this is what is being done now. On the internet you find a lot of information is given. But then, you know, if some doctor says that no, because you are an individual, you are a very peculiar case. It could be because of that. You know, once the doctor says that, your perspective changes.
No, but again, you have to take a second opinion, because the thing is, most of the time, first doctor will tell you one, like I had a problem in my nose. One doctor says I should be operated. The other doctor says, no, you are okay. I mean, and it's been 5 years, I have not been operated, but I am doing well.
You can afford, but not everyone can.
No, obviously there are 5% people who are genuine, but 95% people seem to be non-genuine. That's the
General purpose.
So,
Yeah.
you know, this is why it is very important. I mean, this is because I have traveled very extensively and I have interviewed various doctors in the state of Karnataka. Various doctors, I mean, the whole state actually I traveled, and, you know, villagers, doctors, various other stakeholders I spoke. And my conclusion was that, you know, we have to have some timely healthcare services provided right close to the neighborhood. Because there is no substitute. This private, you know, promoting health finance, promoting health insurance, even at the community level, is not really working. It is not really working.
It doesn't work.
Because ultimately service providers are the private doctors, and they cannot really, you know, even if you have community services, like community insurance, where the subscription is very small, on the basis of those small subscription and small service payments, you cannot afford the private sector. It is not possible at all, because doctors are demanding, because they are also investing heavily. And this capital is very expensive. I don't even blame the doctors for that. Because they actually talk at length and they say that all these machineries are very expensive. You know, if you go to a hospital, you don't have all the specialization. So they arrange for specialization from outside. These visiting doctors charge hefty money. Okay, they have to pay. So how can through small subscription and small service pay premium charges which you get from your insurance, how can you ensure good services?
और वैसे मैडम आपके लोकेलिटी जैसे लोकेलिटी में वो जो नॉमिनेटेड हॉस्पिटल में पहले तो वही नहीं होते, और अगर होता भी है तो वहाँ ओपीडी इज नॉट कवर्ड इन इंश्योरेंस. मोस्ट ऑफ द मेडिकल पॉलिसीज व्हिच आर अवेलेबल they do not cover only the hospital treatment. Therefore there is more need for PHCs.
Yes.
तो उसके implications है जो आउटडोर में ट्रीटमेंट हो सकता है उसके लिए भी इंडोर पेशेंट बनता है आदमी. और जो एक टैबलेट से ट्रीटमेंट हो सकता है उसके लिए 3 इंजेक्शन लगवाता है. जो 3 इंजेक्शन हो सकता है उसके लिए ऑपरेशन करना पड़ता है.
ठीक है, अगर only 3 है.
What they ask you, are you paying the premium? You know, let me tell you, this is my direct experience.
It's a health implication for the very purpose it is created.
You know, what they ask is, in Apollo type hospital, they ask, are you paying through insurance or out of pocket? Insurance. Then you get admitted. It's simple. You stay there overnight and they will give you all sorts of things happening with our
Hospitals are more like 5-star hotels.
They are 5-star hotels. No doubt.
और जो CGHS के पैनल पे हैं मैडम, जैसे फोर्टिस वगैरह है, वो भी ऐसे ही करते हैं. जैसे मतलब CGHS का है या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का एकदम एडमिट करने के लिए वो दे देते हैं, या टेस्ट सारे टिक कर देते हैं. जैसे माय पर्सनल
You get the money anyway.
Apollo hospital can adjust one week hospital stay. He can justify it.
Yes.
For the routine.
Doctors can justify anything. They are the doctors. They are the specialists. And you know, life is so precious for everyone.
More information
That
is there.
you go by what doctors advise. But there is no challenge. Because you can always say that your eyes are connected with your knees.
Yes.
You can always say that everything is interconnected.
Part of the body.
No, but there is a
Every part of the body is connected.
let me be devil's advocate. That be completely different. The thing is, if you have a hospitals and you have the insurance companies, now insurance companies also have panel of doctors who say that, well, you cannot admit him for 1 week, but the treatment what you're saying is not correct. And that's what is happening now, power struggle which is happening in the insurance companies and the hospitals, and hospitals do not have the say as much as they used to have. Now the doctors cannot really take you for a ride the way they used to take you for a ride.
They reduce it.
The insurance company is saying, this is not required, why are you doing it? That is changing, I think.
I don't know, it happened very recently. My father got admitted to hospital and you know, this doctor straight away asked me, how are you paying? I said, through insurance. So she says, get admitted, and he was given priority treatment. He was attended first. This is a very...
No, that is there. I mean, the thing is, but again...
But that was not very much eye-opening.
No, but the thing is, but again, you see now present, earlier what used to happen a couple of years back, if you have a medical insurance, immediately you will be admitted and everything will be done. But now, most of the hospitals and the insurance companies are on loggerheads. They said that we will not really pass your bills unless one panel of doctors will go through the treatment and they will certify, well, this person required this. Then only you can get the treatment.
Medical board.
Yeah, medical board is there now, the third party and all which is...
Nowadays, insurance company first clear the patient.
I mean,
Then only
that way you have to admit that there are some positives in the insurance system. There are, like earlier, the treatment was not standardized. Now the treatment is standardized to some extent. And that is one positive side of the...
Standardized is again a very, very strong statement. He will vouch for that. In fact, what happens is you are doing some treatment is required, but you know, in the middle of that you find that some other treatment is also to be required. You have taken sanction for one treatment. You cannot go for another because sanction is not given. So doctors say, how can we do that? And if you can't do that, then this one sanction one can also not be done. You know, there are so many things.
No, that may be the first time. But I think if it is happening on a regular basis, then after some time it is internalized in the process. You're talking about anything which happens with the first.
You know, during one treatment, emergencies arise for another treatment. But because sanction is not taken for the other.
No, sanction is not required. Only thing is whatever the hospital is doing on the correct way of doing it. Like happened to me, I was in hospital. I had dysentery problem, and later on it was detected, no, it's like not dysentery, it's ulcerative colitis. And that, when later on I read, that is the way the treatment goes. And that I did not have any problem with the insurance company.
You had a commercial insurance, but there are, I'm also talking about other forms of insurance, for instance, community-based insurance. There this problem is so common, and we can afford all that treatment, even if we have to pay out of our pocket. But those people who really require that, and they are actually giving small subscription and they are getting some service charges for that, in that case the problem becomes very genuine, because these service providers are the private doctors. So in the middle of, they get some sanction approval. The condition is that you just diagnose, get the approval, money is sanctioned for that particular treatment. Now that treatment is given to you. Now when during that treatment you find that there is some other emergency which has come, suppose some operation is happening, and at that time you diagnose some other problem. Now the problem that dilemma that doctors face is, should we go for that treatment? Because they may not be paid, they will not be paid for that. Approval is given for this particular treatment. And then they ask the patient, will you be paying us for that treatment? Patient says, we don't have any money for that. Or they feel that, the insurer will pay, but insurer won't pay.
No, that is true. But the thing is, of the 100 cases, these may be very few cases. I mean, I'm not denying that it doesn't happen.
Told me about it.
No, this may be, but the thing is, this may be in 5% of the cases. 95% of the cases may not be like that.
वो उसमें इंश्योरेंस में कवर होता नहीं है, उसको जस्टिफाई करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है.
That is a problem.
ये इंश्योरेंस की जरूरत है.
No.
Insurance is now not passing all the things. I have a live example with me. I was also admitted, somebody else was also admitted. So he was through the private insurance. So he got an accident in the morning, he was treated in the late evening. See, because of this permission problem.
Yeah, that is it.
Because he was by the side of my bed, so I knew this. So this problem is there. The insurance is having now upper hand. So they have to pay the...
Yeah, because the thing is, doctors, why did it happen? Why did it happen? Doctors, medical hospitals are charging exorbitant.
So I think the right direction, it is the right direction. Whatever you are getting situated.
No, but isn't the problem...
No, the problem is that, there is a problem of regulation, you need to say that.
I think, see, if a hospital is saying if you have insurance, I will charge you 3 times, and if you are not an insurance, I'll charge you... That is a doctor, it's a hospital's moral has a problem. It's not an insurance company which is... Initially, insurance company gave you a free hand.
This is not necessarily an insurance company's moral hazard. Service providers are taking advantage of
So, why did this problem came in the first place? Earlier, third party thing was working very well. And what you said about, if you are an insurance company person, you will charge 4 times the price. The other guy will be charged only say X price.
The problem is that, there is a possibility, I'm again.
नहीं है, ऐसी बात नहीं, काफी
You
रेगुलेटेड
cannot
भी
do that out.
है.
Even
Insurance वाले
if you are very, very genuine and you say that 90% people are never let them, they are genuine. But there is a possibility.
No, there is a possibility.
And so it is the problem of service providers, not the insurance companies per se.
That's why insurance company have come and said that, what are you doing?
We are basically an intermediary between the two groups,
Yeah.
parties. And this is not only a problem of
Insurance is not doing exorbitantly. They are respecting the amount of the hospital.
they also want more.
They are not paying around 20,000.
Moral hazard is also a big.
Surgical procedure can just later on. In that case, surgery is performed. Then we will take the sample from the insurance company. Then that procedure will be done later on either medical or surgical. This is the idea.
Yeah.